Hello, and welcome back to Sharpshooter Wrestling. On today's video, I'll be going over my top 5 favorite submission holds of all time, so go grab your referee shirt and you tell me what submissions would cause the fastest tap outs. I'd love to know yours too, so let's see if your list matches up with mine. If not, comment your top 5 and we'll see the differences. If you like the content, please consider punching that subscribe and like button and smack that notification bell for more content like this. Alright, here we go. In the 5th spot, this submission finisher was made famous during the 1990s by the Total Package, Lex Luger. The Torture Rack, a move that requires massive amount of strength depending on the size of your opponent. Luger, being as strong as he was, rarely ever had a problem lifting anyone he faced into a modified fireman's carry position, and once he did, all he had left to do was wrench, twist, and jostle his adversary until they had no choice and couldn't withstand the pain and tap out. In fact, on the 100th episode of WCW Nitro, Lex Luger defeated and dethroned Hollywood Hogan, becoming the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. If it made Hogan tap out, it must be a damn good submission move. Bob Backlund, also known as Mr. Backlund, was a very serious and honest competitor who competed in the squared circle. He holds himself and his wrestling skills in extremely high regard. The submission move taken the 4th place on my top 5 greatest submission holds of all time, the Crossfaced Chicken Wing. No, not that one. This one. Wait, yeah, that's it. A move that required no real strength, but a short and aggressive temperament. Once applied, the cross-faced chicken wing sends an instant pulse of reverberating shockwaves of pain through the upper neck and shoulder areas. So you can see why Mr. Backlund would pick this move as his submission finish. Nothing fancy, just a good old-fashioned wrestling hold, some stretching and pulling, accompanied by a ton of pain. True and honest ingredients in any dangerous submission hold. Bobby Boy was so impressed with this move, one Monday night on Raw, while being interviewed by Vince McMahon, Backlund challenged anybody to escape his chicken wing. Anybody! And if someone could escape it, he would retire right there and then. But no superstar from the back would rise to the challenge. But a writer for the WWF, now WWE magazine, for some weird reason stepped up to the challenge. This, as you can imagine, did not go well. Within seconds of the hold being put on, the writer was tapping out, but Backlund did not want to let go, absolutely refusing. This resulting in Vince McMahon and other ringside officials intervening diligently until the hold was finally broken. The gripping and locking hold this move has is a perfect match for the hand-staring Bob Backlund. I mean, I like my chicken wings hot and spicy, but damn! Coming at number 3 on my top 5 favorite submission holds of all time, the sleeper hold. Since it's number 3 on my list, I'll name the wrestlers who made this hold famous and 2 others who use it as a signature move. Sergeant Slaughter, this WWE Hall of Famer and legend, used this crushing hold as the Cobra Clutch. 2 more WWE Hall of Famers and legends also used this stronghold submission, Rowdy Roddy Piper and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He renamed the hold the $1 Million Dream, which is my favorite name for the submission, considering you eventually pass out the longer you're in the hold. Those are the 3 who I think made the hold most famous, but to find the OG who perfected the hold, we need to go all the way back to 1880. Gory Guerrero was given credit for inventing the hold, but Evan Lewis was given credit for perfecting the submission move, known back then as the neck yoke, stranglehold, but more commonly known today as the sleeper hold. A submission move that was created just over 140 years ago and is still being used today. That timeline is proof enough for me, and obviously many superstars and wrestlers of today, that the sleeper hold is a submission move that is not only incredibly effective, but widely popular. I wonder who will be the next wrestler that will bring it back to the forefront of their arsenal as a top submission finisher. If you have an idea of who this submission would fit best and perform it perfectly, let me know in the comments. I personally think that the sleeper hold would fit Taz's son Hook's offense best. I mean, he's already a fantastic technical wrestler, and this move would just complement his repertoire nicely, making him even more dangerous in the squared circle than he already is. You gotta be a real go-getter and risk-taker if you want to have any chance at taming any beast in the wrestling business. Both those exact traits reside in the creator of this next submission finisher. You guessed it, the Lion Tamer, my second favorite submission move of all time. The pain this move instills every time Chris Jericho applies it to his opponent is nothing short of relentless. It is a thing of beauty when Chris slaps it on. When he cinches it in and it's fully locked, the look on his adversary's face is panic, followed by a grimacing expression. The right knee into the spine or skull, wrenching and pushing downwards, adding more pain and insult to injury. The legs, the neck, the spine, the back, all experiencing a symphony of agony. Those feelings in his victim's pain receptors intensifies the longer the hold is intact. It is vicious as it is excruciating. But this is Chris Jericho we're talking about. He's an absolute wrestling icon, making the Lion Tamer a masterpiece and a work of art. Some say the Walls of Jericho and the Lion Tamer are the same move, but they're not. They are in fact two separate moves. The Ayatollah of rock and roll is always evolving. The Boston Crab, or as Jericho renamed it, the Walls of Jericho, is one finisher, separate from the Lion Tamer. Right knee to the spine or straight to the skull, both distinctive traits associated with the Lion Tamer, whereas the Walls of Jericho, he's sitting on the back of his opponent, then taking his arms and underhooking both of his opponent's legs, pulling in an aggressive backwards motion. No knee to the skull or to the spine, separate from the Lion Tamer, therefore two different moves. At the time, Ken Shamrock was in the company, and he's associated with the Lion's Den, and Vince McMahon did not want to have two gimmicks with Lion in it, so Jericho ended up having the Lion Tamer changed to the Walls of Jericho. This resulting in Chris slowly over time using the Lion Tamer less and less, eventually just replacing it with the Walls of Jericho. Creating a curvature of contortion when Jericho puts the Lion Tamer into action is just a reminder of what actual wrestling used to be like. Twisting, pulling, stretching, crumpling, mangling, pretzeling, all words describing this classic submission hold. So if you're an adversary of Jericho's and you made the list, that's your welcome to Raw is Jericho. So don't be a stupid idiot! He is the best in the world at what he does. He gave us the gift of Jericho, so drink it in, man! Or don't, but if you don't, you're gonna get it. It's time. No, not Vader time, but it's still time for my number one favorite submission hold of all time. The submission hold was created by a Japanese professional wrestler named Riki Choshu. He is considered one of New Japan Pro Wrestling's most decorated and influential wrestlers for his work in the 80s and 90s. Sasori Gatami, better known as the Scorpion Deathlock, or as the number one spot on my top 5 favorite submissions of all time, the Sharpshooter. Bret had many formidable and realistic threats over his career that would challenge for contention or even a championship title. Many superstars and wrestlers of today still keep the maneuver in their back pocket, like CM Punk, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Edge, Dax Harwood, Shawn Spears, and of course Natalya Natty Neidhart. As a kid, it didn't matter. The Hitman was my guy. Win or lose, Monday Night Raws, Saturday Night Main Event, pay-per-views, I wanted to be there watching and see it all. As I'd be sitting there locked into my TV, and if Bret was in any kind of trouble and close to taking a loss, I knew he's just a Russian leg sweep and a double axe handle away from locking in that devastating finisher, and he'd be alright. When applied in the middle of the ring, it's not often a competitor can reach the ropes or break the hold, thus resulting in its popularity since its creation, bringing countless victories and championships to those who hold it in their repertoire of wrestling moves. Bret would have been a multiple-time champion without the Sharpshooter, but with it, he's even more of a threat to bring home the gold around his waist. After all, he's the excellence of execution for a reason. Well, that concludes another video here at Sharpshooter Wrestling. As always, thank you so much for watching, and if you've enjoyed the content, please give it a like, and if you're not subscribed, please take a second to hit that subscribe button and stay up to date when new videos get released. Have a nice day, and I'll catch you in the next one.